Hello, and welcome to another healing conversation brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. My name is Loren Gailey, and this is a special edition of this radio show because of a very interesting event that just happened December 9th at 3:48 p.m. GMT time. A strange light was seen in the Norwegian sky, and that has fueled a whole mystery. And today, to give us an update on what's going on, is Tommie Mercer, who charges water with energy from deep space. His website, starchamberproducts.com, will give you more information about him and what he does. I'd like to welcome you, Tommie. How are you?
I'm great, Lauren. Thank you so much for inviting me in here today to talk.
Well, thank you. I want to just touch base because of this strange light that was seen. What is this?
Well, from the best research we've been doing from the last 2 weeks, what we're looking at here appears to be an aerial crop circle. What we've seen is that when we take a reading on this, when we do magnetic vortical readings, we have the pendula. If folks will take a reference there on the Star Chamber Products website, they'll see that we do a lot of work with the microvortexes of water. In other words, we have manufactured a water that we're actually receiving this type of information in from deep space and creating the vortexes that you see there in that video. However, what we've recently seen is a magnitude increase on these vortexes that we have been receiving utilizing the Star Chamber. About 2 weeks ago, we noticed that just the other night there, when those vortexes appeared in the sky, that on that date we noticed a magnitude times 10 of the vortical powers that we were receiving to place into the waters. And then again, we noticed an even stronger reaction when we took samples of the water. So we've seen that the actual atmosphere, or the water shield, as it were, surrounding the entire planet, in fact, has been stirred, it would appear, utilizing these blue vortical forces that you can see in the photograph on the website showing the actual coloring taking place over Norway. What we've seen in the past is there are increases just before the earthquake there, just off the coast when we had that magnitude rift when the earth shift changed. We see heavy vortical forces forming in or around the areas, creating those effects there, Lauren.
Now, in the photograph, it looks like there's a ball, but that's a hole. Is that like the hole in the eye of a hurricane?
That's a good observation. It sure is. When you take a look at the hurricane from space, you're basically practically seeing sort of the same thing. But notice the left and right vortex formation. We want as much right vortex or right spitting energy, what we call chi, prana, and a list of many words for the same thing. That's living energy dropping into us, coming into us from deep space and forming electrical energy that, makes us operate, you see.
So this is energy coming in from deep space.
Oh, absolutely. If you look at the track, it tracks off planet. It does not track on. If you take a look at it, there's a number of photographs that we've seen that what it looks like, if this appears coming from a straight vortex, straight off planet, it's coming into planet and then hitting the vapor shields. Now, over Norway, it's well known that they have these ice fogs. And so what you would get, if you put a very strong beam of energy, you would get, bless Dr. Emoto's heart, a beautiful symbolic photograph of the actual crystal of the energy. And that's what you're likely seeing over the Nordic skies there.
So what's happening?
Oh, well, it wasn't by accident that our beloved president was practically standing nearly underneath the entire situation. That vortex was formed for a specific purpose. It would be the opinion of our research that that vortex was formed in a remarkable way for a remarkable event to charge that positive energy, that peace-giving energy, loving energy into all who were present at that conference.
And at that conference, President Obama received the Nobel Peace Prize.
And his impetus for future energy and peace on Earth. Synchronicity, that's what it's all about on the Earth these days. We've been working with the waters, for example, and we see that there's increases or decreases in what we call the vortical or a kind of electronic energy coming in. And then we note that that's affecting us in what we call our biomagnetic appellation. If you drink wine, one hill produces a different flavor than the other hill, same wine. It's like a human being. They'll move through the air and move to a place, and all of a sudden there's these different feelings and energies. So some would call those vortexes, or as in Sedona, when we did a radio show in Sedona, and we were talking about vortex energy and so forth. It's a specific area for a specific event for a specific moment. And there you have it, you see. That was a moment in time. The crop circles have been relatively evident of this all along. For those of your listeners who keep up with the up-to-date and recent crop circles, you'll note that through time the complexity, the visual effects, when you take those and you put them on your computer and you start tinkering with it, and what we've learned over the last few years is we've researched the crop circles, as we spoke before on your show. We take the crop circles and using our magnetic dowsing, we, let's call them, make them 3 to 4 dimensional. We can take those, for example, a common person can put it on a computer, put it into one of your Adobe programs, and put that thing on black and white and raise it, and lo and behold, you have actually an object. And it's an object most of the time showing me electrical changes or changes in vortexes or energy coming in and what type of energy moving and so forth. Those are all signals and symbols of what's coming to be. Now, the other night, we got a front row seat. It's not just that. The other day, a client asked me, so where does the water come from? Well, you know, in deep space, there's these clouds. Travel 10 light years to get a teaspoon of water, you know, metaphorically speaking. So here you've got these gigantic balls of metal called planets. If you take 2 big iron balls and you float them by one another, the iron filings will stand up straight up attention. Same thing happens with the water molecule. When you have 2 planets moving in opposite and equal rotation, you get an eddy current, kind of like after a ship goes through the water. That eddy current forms a vortex. Dozen rivers naturally. Victor Schauberger was very, very aware of these vortexes. They could actually float devices or stones or fish on these vortexes. He noted that. Anyway, other research. Point being is now we have the ability to maintain, receive, and control water by receiving the vortex. That's how the Earth receives its water. It brings in this moving energy. It's water-filled. When it hits our magnetic field, it stops, it slows down, and manifests itself as hydrogen oxide, in other words, water. You see? It's a simple process, but the accumulation of water is going to happen even more as we get in towards, for example, exploring the moon, noting that pretty much the moon is actually kind of a comet. It's sort of totally water inside except for that metal ball, and it's frozen. And then onward to Mars. So what we'll do is we'll see this progressive state, and we'll regress this state, kind of like reverse engineering humanity. And that's what's coming up, and that's what the symbols are showing me here in research.
And you said receiving the vortex. So you take this vortex energy from the universe and you put it in the water?
Wow, how much simpler could that be?
Tell us why this is important to have this energy in our physical bodies in the water that we drink.
I'm tired today. I need more physical energy. What shall I drink? It's just that basic. Shall I drink ultra-pure water that has living force, pure energy? Shall I drink water from Detroit's faucets? Shall I drink water from a HDPE bottle that's going to illuminate my entire cellular structure with plastic coating? Noting that every single, almost exclusively stream in the entire United States is pretty much permeated with the residue of rocket fuel, along with other elements you see. Pure water. So what we need to do is really reverse and purify and distill our water into a purified form, and then we need to reverse and place back the living energy that we processed out of our water. And the point of it is the more pure, the more energetic the water. And I believe you yourself have actually drank some of our Star Chamber water. If you note some of the testimonials on the site, amazing events take place in the order of epiphany or resolution or emotional releases, releasing of certain disorders and so forth, all because of drinking a very pure, high-energy water. You see. And it really has nothing to do with anything but pure quantum energy. Quantum is defined as a little box of energy, a little bag of energy, a little packet, you see. That energy is moving and gathers magnetically from all the little water molecules in deep space. They're called nebulae. If you take a look at those, you put all those water vapors in one spot, you might have one single drop of water moving at light speed, or 2.77 times the speed of light according to Nikola Tesla's calculations. You see, all of these people were on the rim, getting the edge, and now what we're doing is we are in fact reversing or reverse engineering humanity. That's what's going on. We're trying to dissect a mirror that's been broken some millions of years ago and trying to put pieces back together. And this is just an artifact science there, Lauren, is what I do.